So after the concept of electrostatic force and electrostatic field, now we'll try to understand the meaning of electrostatic potential. So what is electrostatic potential? So in order to understand electrostatic potential, let's use an example of gravity and water. So let's say we have these two containers, and in container B there is more water, and in container A there is less water, and they are connected using this pipe. So what do you think will happen? So obviously some water from container B will flow into the container A. Till when? Till the level of both the containers become equal. So this is one example. Similarly, let's say we have this battery. So battery has two ends, one is positive end and one is negative end. So the positive end is at higher level, like here B is at higher level. So you can say that there are more protons, positive charge here, and there are less positive charge here. So it is at a higher level. So what will happen is that the charges will flow from higher level to lower level, or current will flow from higher level to lower level. Or you can say that the positive charge will flow from here to here, and the negative charge are more here and less here. So negative charges will flow from negative to positive. So what happens is that whenever we have this type of difference of level, difference of charges, different of value of charges, then there will be some flow. So this concept, this is called the potential. So what is electrostatic potential? So let's say if you want to move any charge, let's say we have charge Q, it is located at infinity. So if you want to move this charge from infinity to any point A in any electric field, so then you need to do some work, because this electric field will oppose this positive charge. So you need to do some work in order to push it here. So when you apply some force, when you do some work in order to push this electric field here, so the work done per unit charge is called the potential. Work done per unit charge is called the potential of this charge Q. So what is potential? Potential is the work done in moving a charge. Okay, work done per unit charge is the potential. And what is potential difference? So the difference between the potential of 2 points is called the potential difference. For example, let's say potential at A is this and potential at B is this. So the potential difference is the difference of the potentials at the 2 points. So for example, here the potential of B is more than the potential of A. So whenever we have a potential difference, what we will have? We will have a flow. So here the water was flowing here because of the difference in the density of the positive or negative charges. Positive charges flow from positive terminal to negative, and negative charges flow from negative to positive terminal. Actually only negative charges flow because they are less massive and they are free to move. So you can say that electrons flow from negative terminal to positive, but we consider the direction of current to be from positive to negative. We will come to this part in current electricity. So whenever we have potential difference, there will be a flow of something. So in electrostatic potential difference, we will have the flow of electric charges. And what is electrostatic potential? Work done in moving a charge from infinity to any electric field. And what is potential difference? Difference of the potentials between 2 points. Potential is represented by capital V. Potential difference is also represented by capital V, and the units is volt. It is quite understandable because this is volt, this is volt. So this will obviously, the potential difference will obviously have the unit volt. For example, if mass of one object is 1 kg and mass of another object is 2 kg, so what is the difference of the mass of the two objects? It is 1 kg. Okay, so again the unit remains kg. So similarly the potential will have potential, and potential difference will have the same units, volt, and again it is represented by capital V. So do not get confused. Okay, potential difference is also called voltage. So just do not get confused in all these terms. Okay. Now potential and electric field are related to each other. How? By this formula. So the change in the potential is equal to the negative of the electric field times the change in the position, change in the displacement. So in other words, you can also say that the electric field is the rate of gradient of the potential. What is the meaning of a gradient? When something changes with length, with distance, then we say that it is a gradient. When something changes with respect to time, we say that it is the rate. When something changes with distance, we say that it is a gradient. So when potential change with distance, we say that it is potential gradient. So what is electric field? Electric field is the negative of the potential gradient. It is minus dV upon dx. Or you can also say that dV, potential, change in potential, is equal to electric field in the change in the location. Now what are the merits of potential? Potential is a scalar quantity, therefore it is very easy to use potential, and by using scalar quantity, by using scalar potential, we can find electric field, which is a vector quantity. So it is always easy to work with scalars as opposed to working with the vectors. So because of that, potential is a very important concept. Okay, so in order to summarize, let's say what is the potential is the work done per unit charge. What is potential difference? It is the difference between the potentials of 2 points. Now we consider the potential of infinity to be 0. Okay, v infinity to be 0, and because of that, when we bring any charge from infinity to a point A, then its potential is v infinity, its potential is va. So we just write va minus v infinity equal to work done upon charge. So ultimately this is 0. So what we get? va equal to work done upon charge. So that's why we say that the potential is equal to the work done per unit charge when the charge is moved from infinity, because the potential of infinity is considered to be 0. Potential is a reference. Okay, we can consider 0 level anywhere, wherever we want. So ultimately in electrostatics, we want to find the force. How can we find force? You can directly calculate the force using Coulomb's law. Or if you cannot find the force directly, you can find the electric field and then find the force using this formula. If you cannot find the electric field, then you can find flux. We have not discussed flux yet. Flux will be discussed in Gauss law. So you can find flux, then electric field, and then force. But let's say if you cannot find flux either, then you can find the potential, which is a scalar quantity, and then you can find electric field and electric force. So this is the most useful method, because we need to find scalar potential. So scalars are always easy to work with. So ultimately what we are doing in electrostatics is trying to find the force, and we are trying to find different ways to do that. So just like electric field, we will find the potential or potential difference of point charge, multiple charges, dipole, line charge, surface charge, etc. So as we have discussed about the point charge electric field, we will now discuss about the potential of the point charge. So it is observed that the potential of the point charge depends on the charge itself, charge q, and it depends on the distance between the source charge and the test charge. Again, test charge serves the same purpose. So the potential due to q is q upon 4 pi epsilon naught r in vacuum, and in any medium it is 4 pi q upon 4 pi epsilon naught epsilon r into r. Again remember, epsilon naught epsilon r is epsilon. Okay, now you can represent this with a graph. So what is the variation of potential with distance r? So it decreases by 1 by r. So it will form a rectangular hyperbola. This graph is called the rectangular hyperbola. So graph looks like this. Now what if you have multiple point charges? So again, using the principle of superposition, but here what is simple is that we do not need to take vector addition, we just need to find the scalar addition. Okay, just add all the potential, individual potentials. So if you want to find the potential at point P due to q1, q2, q3, q4, so just find the potential due to q1, due to q2, due to q3 at point P, and then finally if you want to find the net potential, add all the potentials, scalar addition. So it is quite simple. When you put all the values, you will find this is the formula. So this is very easy to find, quite easy, scalar potential, scalar addition of the potentials. Now similarly there is the concept of electrostatic potential energy. So what is electrostatic potential energy? So let's say we have these two charges q1 and q2. So there is some potential between them, they attract or repel each other. So that potential is there is some potential energy. So that potential energy is represented by u, and the potential energy between these two charges is k q1 q2 upon the distance between them. Let's say the distance between them is r. So the potential energy between the two charges can be found out using this formula, which is quite easy. You can understand that when we have two charges, they will attract or repel each other. So when we, let's say they are positive, so when we push them towards each other, we need to do some work. That work is stored in the form of potential energy, because as soon as we remove the force, what will happen? They will again go back to their original location. So that work done is stored in the form of potential energy. Let's now discuss the concept of a dipole. So what is a dipole? So let's say we have two charges, plus q and minus q, and they are separated by some distance. We are taking 2L, you will understand why we are taking 2L. So what is a dipole? It is a system in which we have two equal and opposite magnitude charges. Okay, so let's say we have plus q charge here, and similarly there will be minus q charge. So the magnitudes will be same and the polarity will be opposite, and they are separated by some small distance. So dipole, di means two, pole means charges like positive, negative. So dipole is a system of opposite charges of equal magnitude. For example, if q1 is plus 2 coulomb, q2 will be minus 2 coulomb. If q1 is 35 coulomb, q2 will be minus 35 coulomb. If q1 is minus 70 coulomb, q2 will be 70 coulomb, plus 70 coulomb. Okay, so where do we see the dipoles? So dipoles are everywhere. Okay, for example, the molecules show dipole property. For example, HCl. In HCl, chlorine is very electronegative, so it attracts the electron of hydrogen towards itself. So this region of hydrogen becomes positive and this region becomes negative. So this is again a dipole, plus and minus, equal magnitude. In H2O also, the oxygen is electronegative, so it attracts the electrons of hydrogen towards itself. So what happens? So the this region becomes positive and this region becomes negative. So therefore dipoles are everywhere. So because of that we are studying about the dipoles. So there is one important quantity which is called the electric dipole moment. So electric dipole moment is the product of one of the charges into the distance of the dipole. So let's say the value of dipole charge is q, okay, any one charge q, and the distance between the dipole is 2L. So then the dipole moment will be q dot 2L. The dipole moment is a vector quantity and its direction is from negative charge to positive charge. Okay, the direction of dipole is from negative charge, dipole moment is from negative charge to positive charge. Remember, the electric field direction was from positive to negative, but for dipole moment the direction is from negative to positive. Now the unit of dipole moment is coulomb meter. Okay, coulomb meter, coulomb into meter. So this dipole moment tells us about the strength of the dipole in the region, how strong the dipole is. So now we will find the electric field of a dipole first, then we will find the potential of a dipole afterwards. So first of all, in a dipole there can be three major situations. So one is the axial or end-on situation, one is equatorial situation, one is the general situation. So we can have, let's say this is the dipole, so we can have one location which is one point which is located on the axis of the dipole. We can have one position located on the perpendicular bisector of the dipole. Okay, this is the dipole. And in one case, even general case, the point can be anywhere. So this general case is the most common. Okay, this general case can be reduced to a broadside on, and it can be reduced to equatorial as well. So we will first discuss about the axial or end-on position. So let's say we have this point. Let's say we have this point Q, point P here, positive charge P, negative charge is here. Distance between the dipole's center and the point is r. So ultimately when you will solve this, you will find that the electric field in the axial position will be equal to k into 2pr upon r square minus l square, where p is the dipole moment. And if we consider the approximation, if we consider that this distance is much greater than the distance length of the dipole, okay, length of the dipole, then you can simplify this and approximate this by this formula. So this is the formula for electric field at a point which is located on the axis of dipole. Now when the point is located on the perpendicular bisector, then the electric field comes out to be this. Again here, if you assume that the distance of the point P is much more than the length of the dipole, then you can reduce it to this formula. You can ignore L square. And in general case, when you will simplify this, you will find that the formula comes out to be this. So now here the theta is the angle, this angle is theta, okay, this angle is theta. So once you put this, you can find the formula for dipole or axial position of dipole and broadside on position of dipole. So here in axial position theta is 0, and in broadside on position theta is 90 degrees. So once you put this, you can easily obtain these formulas, approximate formulas. So this is the formula for electric field of a dipole in equatorial, axial or general position. Now let's try to find the potential. So again, first for axial, then for equatorial or broadside, then for general position. So for axial position, the potential comes out to be this, where again P is the dipole moment, and again if you consider r to be much more greater than the length of the dipole, then it reduces to this formula. And in equatorial position, potential will be 0. Why 0? Because the potential of minus q at P and plus q at P will be equal and opposite. So because of that, we will have potential at point P to be 0. Okay. So on this complete plane, the potential will be 0, because the potential due to plus q and minus q will cancel each other out. And in general position, this is the formula. Again theta is the angle, this angle. So this general formula can be used for any of the case. When theta is 90 degree, you can put theta equal to 90 and you will get this formula. When you will put theta equal to 0, you will get this formula. So this is a formula for potential due to a dipole.